Amazon Prime Video has a new erotic thriller dropping on Prime Video this Friday. I want to thank my friends over at Prime Video UK for allowing me a chance for the screener. We haven't had one of these in a while, so this is my review of The Voyeurs. A young couple moves to their dream apartment and they notice that their windows look directly into the apartment opposite to theirs, inviting them to witness the volatile relationship of the attractive couple across the street. And little by little, they anonymously attempt to intercede in that couple's lives, and you just know that's not gonna work out well, otherwise we wouldn't even have a movie. But before I start with my review, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Be sure that there will be no spoilers, and if this is the first time you're clicking on a video for me, thank you so much once more. Why don't you consider clicking that subscribe button? It does wonders to get the content out there. You'll join a beautiful film fan community, and you'll always be aware of whenever there's more great content up. I went into this film completely blind. I say that a lot of times. I mostly like to go into films as blind as possible, but this film, I literally knew nothing about it. I knew that Sweeney starred in it, Justice Smith and Ben Hardy also were in it. I knew that it was a thriller, and I was in for a pretty fun time. This is an erotic thriller, as I said in the beginning, so I just want to get that out of the way. This film gets spicy, it gets provocative, so you should know if that's for you. If it's not, I think in that regard, it works really well. This is in a lot of ways what 50 Shades of Grey should, could, wanted to be, and I think this film does the most with that side of its stories. It's the type of thriller we haven't had in a while, from the fatal attractions to the basic instincts to wild things. This one sits comfortably amidst those. I'd put it over the Wild Things movies, but obviously it doesn't touch Basic Instinct. But when it comes to the thriller side, it was really effective. The film feels very much like it's harkening back to Rear Window, meeting a little bit of Crash, where people got sexually aroused after car crashes. This one is being sexually aroused by seeing your neighbors, well, being sexually aroused. But the fact that it's in a very isolated location, a small number of characters, it allows you as an audience member and the film itself a lot of time to breathe and consistently follow just the lives of these people and don't worry about anything else. Which also allows for the characters to be well developed. You really get to know these people, especially the couple that's spying on the other couple. And it really positions the characters in a morally gray area. So the characters are realistic and sometimes realistic to a fault. But I'll get to that when I get to my issue. Sweeney gives the best performance I have seen her give in her young career. From Euphoria to White Lotus to that horrible horror film she also did for Amazon. She is really great in this. She has to carry a lot of emotion. She has to carry the film all on her back. She's the one that's pushing the most for her and her boyfriend to spy on this couple and actually intercede in what is going on in their lives, and that is really interesting. You see this self-destructive side of this character, but you can help but actually want her to do this, just to see what happens, what kind of chaos and disaster ensues through her decision. And that raises the tension once more. So the film has all these building blocks that very much raise the stakes and the tension throughout, through every scene. You just can't help but cry for help for this character, but at the same time, you keep on being intrigued. I also thought the film was very well shot. As far as the direction and cinematography in this film, it's much more sophisticated than I expected. The film trusts the audience a lot more than I thought. Director Michael Mohan, and I hope that's how we pronounce it, truly trusts the audience and does enough for his movie to be an homage to Rear Window without really ripping it off. With all that out of the way, I had a really good time with The Voyeurs, but there are quite a few issues. As it keeps going, it takes turns that make the film feel bloated. I don't necessarily disagree with these story decisions, I don't dislike them, but it definitely feels like there's just too much going on as the film advances. And in Act 2B and the third act, there's just so much at such a frenetic pace, where the rest of the film earlier on was methodical, was contemplative. You were able to sit there with those characters, breathe with them, and examine their decisions alongside them. So even though twists and turns and surprises are really gratifying to watch because you have been on this journey, they just feel like they come too soon one after the other, and they stack up too much. So at points you kind of feel numb to the emotions you were supposed to feel. The biggest issue I have with the film, however, is that its characters are so morally gray and so realistic in that sense, you really find it a hard time to root for anyone. There comes a point in this film where I didn't like anyone as people. I was not able to root for any one of the characters in this film. And I get that that is what the story is going for. It's part cautionary tale, part revenge thriller, part erotic thriller. It's all those things that in isolation really work, but the whole is definitely not as good as its parts. But the Voyeurs certainly gave me the thrill that it wanted to give me. It gave me the erotica that it wanted to give me, and I'm not complaining about that. It featured much more of an elegant story than I expected, and again, the leading performance by Sydney Sweeney is simply stellar. It doesn't quite get to be great, but the things that work for me in this film were truly weaponized to their most potential. I'm giving the Voyeurs a B. Those are my thoughts on The Voyeurs. Make sure you check it out when it comes to Amazon Prime this Friday, September 10th. And again, it's an erotic thriller, so if you're not of age, definitely don't watch it. If that's not your thing, definitely don't watch it. But if it is, the thriller, the erotica, the revenge story, the cautionary tale, all of that is there for you to enjoy. So I cannot wait to know your thoughts. So when you do see it, drop them all down in the comments below. If you love it more than I did, if you dislike it more, throw them all down there. Let's discuss. Thank you so much for watching. You are the best. And once more, thank you to Amazon Prime Video UK for allowing me a chance to see it earlier. And I'll be back very soon with more reviews. My review for Marvel's What If, Episode 5, Marvel Zombies is already up, and many more will come very soon. And so until the next one, love each other, and love the movies.